Welcome back to the episode's podcast. As you like to know, we like to sharpen that iron, polish that rust off, make a brand new iron here on this podcast with your host, this guy. Today, we're going to be busting some myths that you guys have been told for the longest time that just isn't true to this day, and is why it's causing you to be stuck where you're at right now. It's almost like, think about this. Today, it's going to be called Mythbusters. You ever seen a movie called Ghostbusters? You know, who are you going to call? Ghostbusters. Well, you can use me as what you can call Mythbusters. Jokes aside, let's get right into it. So, the false myths that you've always been told to, or you've been always told over and over and over. When it comes down to the question is like, with the false myths is, does blank make you fat? So I'll go down the list and I'll explain everything in detail why like these are false when it comes to it and you have a better understanding. So, does carbs make you fat? Not really. Do fats make you fat? No. Snacking, you get told a lot about it, but no. Sugar, no. Fruit, Genetics, no. Meals up to 17, oh, I love this one, but no. Sodas and drinks, oh, if you're a big soda drinker, that's a no. So, what happens when all these are no, and how does that not make you fat, but you get told over and over that these does? Well, let's just say you're a person, for easy math, you're a person that average consumption is 2,000 calories. And so let's say, for example, your average consumption is 2,000 calories, and let's say you have a day where you have a cheat meal, like you have pizza, pasta, whatever the case is. So let's just say that you go over your caloric intake of 2,200. So you go over your intake of 2,200, and what's going to happen is everything is going to get drawn into this category of extra calories. And what does extra calories have to do with anything? Well, over the course of a period of time, it's going to evolve into fat. Now, how does that make sense when all these things doesn't make you fat, but you said extra calories does? Well, again, the same concept is like when they tell you carbs make you fat, you got caught carbs, or you like fats make you fat, you got caught fats. It's like, those things are not the actual problem that's causing you not to lose weight. The actual problem is going to be over the course of a period of time, the extra calories that you're consuming from all these categories is going to be the consumption of to getting you fat over time. And with that, if you go 3,500 calories over the consumption of what your daily intake is, over time you can gain fat. So you do this day in, day out, week after week, month after month, and year after year. That's where all the fat is going to come from. Because again, it's going to come from all this extra calories that's going to lead into fat, and that's going to transfer into extra calories above what you're supposed to be taking, and it's going to repeat this whole cycle. So same thing, we have extra fats, like you're a big nut person, you love oils, all those things like that. Again, same concept is if you have like 2,500 calories that day, again, at the end, those are extra calories. Snacking, I know you're big snackers out there, where you like ice cream, those cookies, those donuts, those sweets, those treats, whatever the case is. If you go above what your average calorie is, those are extra calories. Again, leading to fat. Same thing with sugar. Sugar is not the actual problem that causes fat. It's just extra consumption, and it doesn't matter which sugar you consume. At the end of the day, it's all about the caloric intake. Now, again, with sugar, that all depends on what type of sugar consumption is. And kind of goes down to fruit and things that those two things are different. Fruit is more of a fructose, which is more natural sugars. Now you're considering sugars from, processed foods like cookies, donuts, all those things along that line of junk food. That's going to be a different type of sugar because you might have fruit, and you might have energy that lasts you throughout the entire day. Compare as we have a cookie, you might have energy for those 30 minutes, but then you're crashing afterwards and you're not going to be energized. You're going to feel tired. You're just going to be feeling sluggish. So that's the difference with the sugar consumption is depending on which one you consume is which energy is going to give you more benefit down the road. So same thing as like with genetics. I'm not really going to get into detail, but at the end, it's just about consistency. If you're going to be consistent about going extra calories over carbs and fats over time, I mean, it's just going to be playing out that genetics don't really play part. It's just you're consistent of consuming extra carbs and extra fats above your caloric intake. That's going to cause you to be stuck and also gain weight. Same thing with meals up to 7 p.m. Your body is just not a time machine. It doesn't track on like what time it is or how it's processed. Your body is burning constantly through the 24/7. Even when you're sleeping, your body's still burning calories, not as much, but it's still burning because that's where most of the recovery is coming from, and that's where all the muscle repair is coming from. Is from your sleeping. Sodas and drinks. I mean, same concept when we go back to sugar and things. If you consume like Pepsis, Cokes, any of these drinks that you consume, the frappes, the lattes, all those things, again, at the end, those will contain extra calories. So at the end, when you get told these myths about carbs make you fat, fats make you fat, the list that goes down and that you've been told over and over again, these are not the actual problem that causes you to be fat. Again, all these have in common is the extra calories here. Again, if you're the person is only averaging about 2,000 calories and you go above 3,500 calories above what your caloric intake is on a day-to-day basis, then at the end of the time, it's going to drive you down to being fat and cause you to gain that weight. So this is what happens when we get told these false myths. And this is why it's confusing guys on what's right, what's wrong. Because again, like when you try and go on the next best diet for you, you think, oh, I can't have carbs. I got to cut that out. And knowing that, you're not going to enjoy yourself because you're a big carb lover. You love your sweets, you love your pizza, you love your pasta. So know for sure that you ain't going to do that, or that's not going to be sustainable long term. You might do that for a short period of time, lose that weight. But again, what happens when you add those carbs back in? You're going to gain the weight back, or even more, you're going to gain more of it back. So what does make you fat? Well, let's just take a look. Over here is inconsistency. And all these have in common to make this easy process for you to understand is this all teaches you how to be in a calorie deficit. But over time, you already been doing that for so long, your body's just not going to be sustainable long term. And it's going to cause you just, keep failing over and over again. Because again, you're going to be trying to deal with all these different tactics that these people are not telling you. And at the end, you're just going to keep failing and you're going to keep feeling miserable and you're just going to be stuck where you're at and not be happy. So inconsistency is like you try being a calorie deficit, what we're trying to do along this list, and you be in a calorie deficit, it doesn't work. You go back to going to those false myths of like trying something new and things that like carbs are bad, fats are bad, all those things. Like a plan, you don't actually have a plan. You're just winging the shit out of it. You're just going based on like what you know, and you're just going based on like, oh yeah, if I do X, Y, and Z, this is going to give me the results. And at the end, it may, but at the same time, we're talking about sustainability. And again, what might work for that person is not going to work for you because you also got to understand you probably have a different lifestyle. You probably got a different activity. You probably buy responsive foods that's different versus what that person is. So you got to take in on those factors and understand that what worked for them is not going to work for you. Skipping meals. At the end, your body is a mission. Like your body needs energy throughout the entire day for you to do activities, for you to function, for you to think, for you to be alert, all those things. So your mind needs consistent energy throughout the entire day for you to be at the best performance, whether that's at work, with your family, working out, whatever the case is. You always want to keep refueling yourself. It doesn't have to be big meals, but something to keep you feeling so you can be energized and be alert the entire day. Fad diets, if you try Whole30, paleo, keto, all those things out there, this is the same thing as they all teach you how to be in calorie deficit. But again, we're talking about at the end is it doesn't lead to sustainability. And that's the problem in this day and age is sustainability is the issue that a lot of people are not having because we're always trying to do the next best thing. But when you get yourself in that loss of weight, whether it's 15, 20, 25 pounds, what do you do afterwards? They don't teach you that. They just teach you how to lose the weight. But when you're done doing that, especially if you go like keto, they tell you have no carbs, but you want those carbs back in. Same concept, you add those extra calories back in, but you're going straight from what you were doing before. They don't teach you the habits, they don't teach you the tools. So when you get off that plan and go back to what you were doing from the first place, that's where you gain all the weight back. Again, you put yourself in deficit, but it doesn't teach you the sustainability long term. Detoxes. There's nothing that's going to cleanse your system from what you're doing. At the end, it just goes to planning. You haven't planned, you understand what foods work, and that's what's going to, and you having that nutritious value of foods coming to your body, that's what's going to be the most beneficial cleansing your body. It's not going to be those drinks. And at the end, with these drinks, all these detoxes is teaching you is again, you're going to be in a calorie deficit. So you might have an 800 calorie day worth just of drinks, but again, is that nutritious value for your body? Not really. Only cardio. I know there's a lot of people out there who's watching this is only doing cardio. At the end, only cardio can only go so far. Like say you've been on a treadmill for 30 minutes, you may only burn those 150, 200 calories. But after that session, you burn no more calories. This is why resistance training is such a very important tool, because even though it doesn't burn that many calories during the session, you gotta think about the aftermath. When you damage those muscles, when you add protein into your body to recover those muscles, to build those muscles up, your body is burning calories over and over again to maintain that muscle and to keep building the muscle strength over time. And excessive calories, again, it just goes back to you overconsumption of calories over time, and it's not going to be sustainable because you're not ready. It goes back to you not having a plan and you not being consistent, again, of you tracking, of you having the right tools, and of you following the plan. So this is where it comes down to all these mythbusters. These are the actual true mythbusters right here that comes into when people gain the weight and they can't shut it off because they keep, again, trying the next best thing that's out there that's not sustainable over term. Again, we just focus more on sustainability versus just trying to be in a calorie deficit or just having the right tools and the right resources and the right habits. Then at the end, you don't have to fall in this trap of trying to find the next best thing out there for you. You just got to have a plan. You got to be consistent with it, and you got to be determined about it. And after that, then you can enjoy the rest of your life, still enjoying the foods, still enjoying life without feeling guilty, without feeling shame. So, guys, I hope this helps. Please like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next video.